Okay, this is the same program that I showed you by using online GDB. So this is my class declaration. This place is the place that we have prototype here of the functions, and we have the definitions here. So these are the function prototypes, and these are the definitions. Okay, and actually this is the way of writing a class, and this is the way of creating the classes. So some functions are setter functions, and some functions are getter function. So actually it is easy here to understand which one is setter, which one is getter. Setter functions are the functions that they are changing the value of the variable, which it is normally here it is public, but it should be variable, because otherwise we can directly reach it. And set breadth, set height have same task. And the getter is the function that whatever we have in that class, we will get it and see it on computer. So this is what we are just using getter. So these are the setter functions, and this is a getter function. Okay, these are setter functions, and this is getter. Okay. So this is the difference. Okay, so at the end of the program is doing what? Actually calculating the values of the length, breadth, and height, and just display it as the volume. And this one as well doing the same thing. Okay. So at the end, we will, when we call box1 dot get volume function, it will give me what? Get volume is just returning to length, breadth, and height. So it will be because of we already take length, breadth, and height values, it will calculate the volume. So as I told you, we can do it directly instead of using these functions. But remember that after a while, the programs like that will be private. I mean, in classes, the data members will be private and member functions will be public. So we can reach the member functions over the we can reach the data members over member functions. But think a situation like this one is private. Okay, and the functions are public. So after this place, functions are public. These values are private. Okay. So let me to go to the compiler again. Online compiler. 1 second. Because if I have a lot of things open, I can't go to that. Okay, this is the code that we discussed. So if you remember, when we make this part private, this part public, and when we, instead of just sending the value to a function and then change the value of the variable, we just select to directly change it. But because of I make length, breadth, and height as private, I can't have access directly to length. So if I erase this one and use box1.set length, the program will work. As you see. Okay, so actually the normal way of using creating a class and writing this kind of program is to make the variables private and the functions public. So by this way, we can just reach the functions. So because functions are private, what was it first? Set length 6.0. So we can reach the functions and len value will be 6.0 and 6.0 will be assigned to length. But you may ask me a question. What will happen? But you said that length is private, so how we can access it? So I can say you, we will see in private part, but for now to explain you, okay, data members can have data members and member functions. They can have access to each other. So, okay, from outside of the class, I can't directly reach it. I mean, I can't write box1.length and assign 6.0. I can do it. I can't do, but I can just use a function to just assign a value, and this value can be assigned to any private value because they are inside same class and they can interact to each other. So Isaac, sorry that I just saw your message. Can you ask me more explanatory question, because I don't understand from which part you are asking. You said how, sir, why it is private. Can you just expand your question? Sorry, I was explaining and look, I don't know if you are asking this. Making it private or public is something that we are choosing. But generally, the aim of the one aim of the object-oriented programming is to make the data, I mean the variables, private, and the functions public. So we can modify, we can have access to the variables over the functions. So indirectly, we can just have access. And we can, their general name, there's not a kind of rule to write set something, but generic name of setting the value of a private variable is setter, and the general name of getting the value. Getting means, for example, you are getting the value and you can display it, for example. So it is called getter. You can see the screen now? Just 1 second. Why it is like that? Okay, because it seems okay. Yes. So you can ask the questions, I can answer. So let me because I shared my screen, so it's not only one place, it should be available for each frame. Okay. Yes. So by the way, I put this message box just next to me so I can see when you ask something or warn me for something. Okay. So by the way, in 10 or 15 minutes, I'm planning to finish the class. But for tomorrow's lab, if you didn't attend the previous lecture, these are important. So we discussed that data hiding is one of the important features of object-oriented programming, which preventing I think I disconnected and come back. Okay. So I just started to explain the access modifiers. So data hiding is one of the important features of object-oriented programming, which allows preventing the functions of a program to access directly the internal representation of a class style. So we are just making it restricted. By this way, we can reach the functions of the, we can reach the data of the that class by using that specific function. Okay, so if we have the function, we can reach the data. If we don't have the function, we can't reach the data. So this is the way of reaching the values and changing the values. So we have